Hey FlossTube, it's Megan, Georgia Girl Stitching, here with my January update. It is Friday, January 28th, 2022, and this is FlossTube number 21. So I just want to start off by saying thank you so much for coming back and joining me for another beginning of another year. And thank you so much for all of the kind comments on my last video with my mom. We had such an amazing time filming that together, all of our projects and the quilt, and it just was so much fun. I will try to get her back on more often. I know that was a running theme in the comments, to get her back. I'll get her back, every time it makes sense to, with, us being in the same place with all of our projects. It's, so I promise to get her back, hopefully before another year and a half passes. But yeah, thank you so much for all the sweet comments on that. And I wanted to say welcome to all of my new subscribers as well. I've had quite a few since my whip parade and finish parade last month. So welcome and thanks for joining this crazy ride. I thought since, it is the beginning of the year and not everyone's probably watched my last 20 episodes, I thought I would just do like a brief bio about who the heck I am. I'm obviously Megan. I'm 25 and a second year medical student here at VCOM Auburn in Auburn, Alabama. I live with my husband, who's a fourth year medical student at Auburn, about to graduate, and our 102-pound lab tank. So you might, my previous videos and future videos, you might hear him pitter patter around. He and David are off on an adventure right now, so he's not here. But he does make often appearances. David and I actually we're both from Atlanta, or Marietta, Kennesaw, right just north of Atlanta. And we both, we met in middle school. So we've been together a really long time. We got married this past June. Right after college, he came straight to medical school. And then I went to Cincinnati for a couple years to do some gap years and working at the children's hospital up there. And that was where I was introduced to FlossTube and cross-stitch shops and keepsakes and this amazing, wonderful world. I'd been cross-stitching for a little while before that, but this was like I'd only known like Joann's before that. So this was totally a whole new world. And like I said, we got married this past June and he starts residency this summer. So he graduates medical school and starts his career essentially. He's in the Navy. He's doing the Navy scholarship. So he will be heading up to Portsmouth/Norfolk for his residency. And then I'm hoping to follow him and do my clinical rotations up there. We'll see. We find out February 25th if that's possible. There's like a whole match process for rotation sites, and I find out my final one on February 25th. So good vibes, please. But yeah, I think that's kind of the basics. Life update, I guess, can go along with this. I just started a new block back in a couple weeks ago. This is kind of my last normal block. So block is kind of like a quarter. It's 11 weeks long. This is kind of the catch-all of everything that we couldn't fit in the last year and a half. So we're starting with hematology and oncology, and then going to psychiatry, and then going to dermatology. And then next block, they kind of leave us alone to study, and I take my first medical board examination this June. So pretty much all my free time, if I'm not studying for class, I'm studying for boards at this point. So it's gonna be a fun ride. And in the meantime, moving and David graduating and all the fun things. So it's gonna be a fun future 6 months to a year. And then the biggest thing that happened this month though, and I gotta call out UGA. I went to University of Georgia, hence Georgia Girl Stitching. Dawgs won the national championship. It was an amazing night. We finally are back to national champions again. Hopefully it won't take another 40 years again. But that was a big moment. My mom also went to UGA. And so it was a big deal in our household and our family for the Dawgs to win. So that was really fun. We took a little weekend trip to Kentucky, Lexington, in early January to celebrate David's birthday. His birthday is in December, the end of December, but the time between Christmas and New Year's is tough. So we went the second weekend of January up to Lexington. He wanted to do we wanted to go visit Woodford Reserve. He's a huge whiskey fan. And we met his best friend slash who was his best man and his wife. We got like an Airbnb together for the weekend and just kind of saw Lexington. We happened to be driving up the day after they had gotten one of the worst snowfalls ever. It was right after the snowstorm that hit Lexington. And yeah, we got to see snow, which we were driving on our way to Lexington on Friday when I saw the news that they had gotten like 7 or 8 inches of snow. I was like, well, we definitely did not pack accordingly. So I was in like my North Face and we had boots but we stayed tucked inside a lot. We didn't drive very much. I mean, I hadn't seen snow like that since I was living in Cincinnati, and that was really when the polar vortex hit. Was it that thick? So it was fun to kind of get through that. The cars were a mess. But yeah, we had a lot of fun and with them especially. So that was fun way to celebrate his birthday. And then I think that's kind of all the main life stuff. My best friend did get engaged. I posted about that. She's North Dakota right now, and her fiance is born and raised in Grand Forks, North Dakota. So she's there for now. She's gonna be a North Dakotan. But that was super exciting for them to get engaged, and the wedding planning process is already in. So whenever I'm not studying, I guess I'm now helping plan her wedding. So it's been a lot of fun so far. And I'll talk about that more here in a minute. So I think that's officially all the big stuff. I do have some stitching. I really was very focused on specific stitching, so I don't have a whole ton of variety, but I've got, but you know me, I'll ramble for an hour just because I will. But I do have an FFO to start off with. So I did a finish parade back in December, and I pulled this out, and I even said in the video, I'm like, I just need to get this framed. There's really no reason for this not to be framed. I have the frame, I have the piece, let's go get it done. So the FFO I have is Loved by You by Liz Matthews. Finally got it framed. I stitched this back in 2020. It's on 36 count platinum, and I do 2/2 on 36 count. I like the coverage of 2 strands. But you do you, there's no rules. And I really liked how she had kind of the letterboard style, and in the cover photo, she actually has this in like a 16x20 frame, and there's a whole lot more, empty fabric around to kind of give it that letterboard look. And I do like that a lot, but 16x20 is a little too big for just the space we have right now and like future spaces. So I went with the 11x17, and this is what we got. I got it framed at Hobby Lobby that we have here. Probably won't get anything framed there again, but they did a good job with this one. So super happy with it. It's just a simple black frame. I don't even remember where I got it. I've had it. It's just one of those, it's one of those times where they had a frame sale somewhere, and I just got a bunch of things that I'd probably use in the future and had a good use for it. So yeah, so I love it. It's nice that I have it on the blue wall now. I actually took it down to show you guys. So super in love with this one. Nice to have it up. I was telling David so at the end of February, we're going house hunting. Pray for us. So for Portsmouth area, like Suffolk, Chesapeake, somewhere in there. So I was telling him though, right now we have this blue wall, which you can kind of see a peek of, that faces our front entrance. And it's like my favorite wall. It's my favorite color. And we have all these wonderful things on there. And I was like, okay, in our next house, we're gonna have to get a blue wall. Like, this is a thing now. We're gonna have to always have a blue wall. And he was like, oh God. And I was like, a tradition has begun. So right now it's on our blue wall. So that's my FFO. And then I also have a finish. So if you watched my video with my mom, you're probably not surprised this is a finish. But I saw this piece on Etsy and just instantly thought of my friend Maddie. And with her actually, now she's actually engaged, but at the time she was just playing, I knew it was coming. He'd been texting me, and I knew it was happening. And so I saw this and thought of her and decided to go ahead and stitch it. And then now that she's actually planning it, it's turned out to be even more perfect. So my finish is State of North Dakota by Country Magic Stitches on Etsy. And this is my finish. So what's even more amazing about this piece now that I didn't know when I had started it is that these are her wedding colors. I mean, I talked about that in my last video, but like, so she had thought about it, but now it's like officially her wedding color. So it's even more, because she could have changed them, you know, in the time frame. But she didn't, and here we go. So super happy with this. Get a close up. I made 2 changes. The state is called for in black, 310. And so I changed it to green etoile. I think it's $6.99 etoile. And that is because it's her favorite color is emerald green. She went to Michigan State University, so that's Michigan green. And he went to University of North Dakota, and he's from Grand Forks, so like all about the green. So it's like all the greens are accounted for with this one color. And the other change I made is I actually put a heart over here where I attempted to place it over where Grand Forks is, because that is where they will be living. She is a civil engineer and so works for a company in Fargo, but she's gonna be able to live in Grand Forks with him. He has a house there while working from Fargo. So it's apparently only like an hour drive, which is like crazy that I guess just a straight road. So I did it in the blues these are really her wedding colors, but she does also include blues in her wedding colors. So I incorporated the blue with the heart. So yeah, so I'm super in love with this. This is on 40 count raw. It was a ton of fun to stitch. This green was very time consuming, as you can imagine. What I did is I just outlined the state and then I just filled in. So pretty much anytime we were in the car, anytime I had a study break or watching a lecture or something, I was filling in green. And I think it's like 4,500 stitches of green. But it was so worth it. And that sparkle is just perfect. I love it. I love etoile. So yeah, so I'm actually going this weekend with David tomorrow. We're going to go to Michael's and get it framed. I'm visiting her during my block break in March. So I'm going the end of March. I have another friend's bachelorette party, and then I'm going to Fargo/Grand Forks to visit her. And I think I'm gonna take this as she's moving in next month, so I'm gonna take this as a housewarming gift and engagement present and all the things. So yeah, so that's, and I'll show it in my next video fully framed, hopefully. So that's my finish. And then I do have a start that I didn't show in my last video because I was at my parents' house. So mom, if dad's around, you might want to turn this down. Because I know mom watches it at home, obviously. So I didn't show it in my last video when I was showing all of my New Year's Eve 12 by 12 starts because my dad was literally right behind us in the office. So I showed it, he would have heard it. So I started this one of the hours and I didn't post it either. I put it in one of my stories because I hid my dad. You can hide people from stories. So I hid dad from my stories and then posted it there, but I haven't posted on my page. My dad he's a graphic designer as his career, but he is also an extremely amazing photographer, and he does mostly black and white photography and more like landscape. It's really, his style is so interesting, and so, but he's major enthusiast of that, and so and been won awards and different exhibits, and he's incredible at it. So I saw this pattern and decided I'm gonna try and do this for Father's Day. If not, it'll be for Christmas. But it is the Imaginating Let's Make Memories. Especially because it's already in kind of black and white, sepia type tone. And so I'm gonna do this for him. I am changing the Making Memories part. So he's actually just launched his website a few weeks ago, or I guess a couple months ago at this point. And I'll link it down below if you're interested. But he has on there in his bio, he has a really awesome quote and bio in there, but he says something in there about how he can use photography to kind of alter reality to look a little different with his black and white. So, and if you see his photography, you kind of get an idea of what he's talking about. But I'm going to change making memories to say alter reality or altering reality. So that's what, and I'm doing this on 32 count silvery moon linen. And this was my start. So I'm starting in that center. I love this silvery moon. It's like this really lovely light gray fabric. But it doesn't actually have like sparkle to it or anything. It just kind of shimmers on its own. And so this is actually that center area. So this shows like kind of sepia, but the colors are more gray. Gray and I think that lightest color is like almost white. So you can kind of see, so it's not actually sepia tone. You could turn it that if you wanted it, but yeah, so I'm excited about that. So I'm going to be working, now that Maddie's gift is done, this is going to be my other gift focus. I'm hoping once I get that centerpiece done, the rest of it shouldn't take too long because it's mostly just backstitching letters. So yeah, so love that. That's been going to be fun. And then I haven't stitched anything for him in a long time. So it's his turn for another cross stitch piece. So I'm excited about that. And then the only other thing I've worked on, I finished Maddie's piece a week ago, exactly a week ago. So the past week I was like, okay, so I am doing whip go. I was like, so I could do my whip go pieces, but they weren't really calling to me, to be honest. And I am still wanting to work on this piece every month. And I was like, you know what, let me go ahead and pull out the piece I want to work on every month and just see how far I can get, you know, because I have some busy weeks. Let's just see what I can get to. I pulled this out and of course I got re-obsessed with it and absolutely couldn't stop working on it. So, because I was really just going to work on it for a couple days and then maybe change to something. No, I love it too much. So this is Patchwork by Jan Holtman. And I'm actually doing a conversion to beach colors. And so I'll actually put a picture of the pattern here. And you can kind of see that's a bunch of different colors. I'm changing it to ombre for water. So I'm having and I'll show you in a second, but in the corner it'll be white for sand and then teal light blues. And then the other corner will be dark navy blues. So it's kind of this ombre look. And so last year I completely finished all of the whites and now I get to start on the teals and the light blues, which are my favorites. So I went ahead and got started on that. My goal this year is to get 12 done and I've gotten 3. Oh, I love this piece so much. So it's almost like hard to show the whole thing. So last year I finished all of the white and tans and that was 14 motifs. I think there's 69 or 70 total. So I finished 14 and then I got the 3 blues in. Oh, it's so good. I'm obsessed. So this one is Color and Cotton Hunter, which I got a long time ago. I don't know if it's still part of their normal line because it's on like one of their old tags. So I'm not sure if it's still part of their line, but you can look. Color and Cotton Hunter. This is Stitchy Box Flower Silk and Robin's Egg, which is a gorgeous color, but not the most fun to work with, I gotta say. I used the same length as I do for everything else, and it was constantly knotting, but the color's gorgeous, so I'm just glad it was a small motif. And then this last one is Almond M&M's Blue Moon Silk, and oh my god, this was heaven to work with. Absolutely amazing. I think this is officially one of my favorite flosses. Just in like the colors, but that's my absolute perfect favorite color. The silk was heavenly to work with. So I'm remembering this one and like the variegation is subtle but so nice. So that's definitely on my list of favorites. So yeah, so there and then back. So this is what I've been working on for the last week and I love it so much. So this is where you can kind of start seeing the outline. This is where the quote's gonna go. So it's kind of, this will be all the way across and then quote and then everything above. I'm gonna continue going in the diagonal, I think, because because I don't want to take it out of this Q-snap yet. So this Q-snap is obviously huge. This is an 11 by 11 Q-snap with the 3-inch extensions. So this is a 14 by 14 Q-snap. I can only use this when I put it in my K's Creation lap stand, because this would hurt my wrist to hold. But yeah, this is where that, and then needle minder from Brandie. We're using hashtag Project Happy Sow with this one. So yeah. These are also the Smart and Cool magnetic cord holders that hold the fabric really nicely. I just roll it up, and then I like to use the 2, so you can kind of see. I'm showing you my back, but that just like works well for corners for me, is how I do that. I'll link those down below. I know that people have been looking for them in some other places, so I'll link those down below. But yeah, oh, sorry, I can just stare at this forever. This is on 46 count flax with 1 strand. So super excited about that. But that's all my stitching for this month. I still have a few more days of January. I'm not quite sure what I'm gonna do with them. I do have huge exams next week, so it might be none, I don't know. Or am I gonna jumpstart on my February Whip Go goals? I'm not sure. So that's kind of up in the air for right now, or I might work on another motif. You'll find out next month, I guess. So yeah, so that is all of official stitching. My plans for February are, I'm gonna try and work on my Whip Go goals since I neglected them this month. I'm gonna work, so February, she called the numbers. She's Jessie Marie, Jessie Marie Does Stuff. She called the numbers yesterday. And the first one she called, I think this is the first one. So the first one she called, I think, was number 5. And number 5 for me is Hammock at Sunset. I love this one. I've neglected this one, but I love this one. And my Whip Go goal is to finish 1 page. And this is all I have so far. I haven't worked on it since my whip parade, but this is where I'm at. And so I was doing the parking, and I still might, because I don't have the PDF version of this. I only have the print version. So I might continue just doing the blocks, but I'm not sure. I might try scanning it and seeing if I can get it into Pattern Keeper, but I'm not quite sure. So yeah, so my goal is to finish a page on this. And then my other one, it was one of my 12 by 12 New Year's Eve starts. And this is the picture. This is Midnight Sale by Shannon Christine Designs. And I'm doing, sorry. The Hammock at Sunset is on 18 count Fiddler's Ada and Light Oatmeal. And this is on 32 count Nocturne by Picture This Plus. And this is as far as I've gotten. Not very far. But I only worked on this for 45 minutes. But I'm working on the sails, and the ship is where the center of the piece is one of the sails. So my goal is to finish the ship. So just the black ship is my goal for this year. And then the moon that's behind the ship is all Kreitnick. So it's like the blending filament. So I'm gonna save that for next year probably. But right now I'm just gonna work on the ship. But yeah, so those are my February goals. So my plan for February is to work on those 2 and then continue working on patchwork. And then to make up for the projects I didn't work on this month, because I finished Maddie's and because I'm way ahead on my goal for patchwork, when those 2 numbers are called, that's when I'm gonna work on my January numbers, is my plan. So that way I'm just kind of flip-flopping without officially flip-flopping. But yeah, so that's my February plans right now. I'm gonna try and do another video at the end of February. Like, I'm gonna try and do it at the end of every month is my goal. We'll see how that continues, but I feel like once a month at the end of the month is relatively doable. We'll see about May and June. Might not happen May and June, but for now, I think that's doable for this first part of the year. Okay, so now haul. So to help me keep more organized, I saw this on Zook Stitches FlossTube, Carolyn Zook, and I just loved the colors, but then also loved the idea of it. And that is this monthly planner, 2022 and 2023. I didn't realize it was 2 years until I looked into it a little bit more. And it's just the monthly calendar. So it's monthly calendar plus a line of 2 pages of notes. So this is my January. So you can see I'm just keeping track of what I worked on each day. Might put a stitch count if I have one, but like, so finished North Dakota, worked on different things. And then the next day or the next page is like the notes. And that's where I'm keeping track of like the different finishes I've had. And then the next page is the next month. So I love this. I think it'll help me kind of remember, since I am only gonna do this once a month, help me remember what I worked on during that month. Is kind of my plan. Cause I have like the notebook I use for like my notes and everything, but that doesn't have like a calendar to kind of keep track. So super happy with this. And then I did get my Color and Cotton monthly club. So I've been in the fabric club, and then at the end of December, she posted that they had floss of the month club openings. And so I jumped in on that. So I'm super excited about being a part of that because Color and Cotton is my favorite floss dyer and fabric dyer. I mean, Color and Cotton is just my favorite in general. So I am super excited to be a part of the floss club now. But the fabric, I get a 32 count and a 40 count. And this month was Esmeralda. You might have already seen these in other places, but Esmeralda. And it's just this gorgeous emerald green color. So that's the 40 count. And then this is the 32 count. Not a whole lot of difference between, some months there's a lot of difference, but I guess the 40 count's a little bit darker, but pretty similar this month. So love that, love that. This would look really good with like a white monochromatic pattern or something. And then I got my floss club, my first floss club. I used to do it years ago, like 20 years ago. It was like 2 years ago, but feels like years ago. I was in Cincinnati in my apartment, and so that feels like forever ago. But I joined the all colors for 5 skeins. And so we got monkey grass, quail, maple syrup, Poseidon, which I am planning to add to my Quaker, and then blue bonnet. I just love these. And they've changed the tags too, which I love. So yeah, so that was the all colors, which are just perfect. Actually, I took this out of the Quakers. I should put that back. And then I'm on their Facebook page and I get notifications whenever they post something. And so I saw a notification from them that they said they had extras of their monthly clubs. And I was like, well, let me go take a look. And of course I loved it. So I got one of their extras of their primitive neutrals packs, just the 5 skein. And so dark indigo, which is like this gorgeous like black blue color. Whiskey. I have to make something with David with this one. Loudon. Almond latte. Love that. The variegation of these are amazing. And then brass. Yeah, brass and whiskey. I'm gonna have to make something for David with these two. So those are 2 of his favorite hobbies. So yeah, so love these. Excited to see what to add these to and kind of build up more of my Color and Cotton collection. Their variegation, their flosses, I can't speak more highly of them. So if you have the opportunity to get some of their fabric or their flosses and you haven't tried them yet, highly recommend. You can also get on like a wait list for their clubs, and they'll notify you when there's a spot available if you're interested. I think it's a great deal. And then the last piece of haul is, so I saw this on Amazon. It was on sale. I've wanted this a really long time, but I just haven't, it wasn't on the forefront of like starting, so I hadn't gotten it. And then I heard a rumor, and I don't know if this is true, so do not take my word for it, but I had a panic moment when I heard it, was that this was gonna go out of print. And so I was like, or is just gonna, they're not gonna make it, I guess, out of print, and it's gonna be harder to find, or it's gonna be more expensive. So I was like, well, I better go ahead and get it because I know I want it. And that could not be true. That could be wrong, but I went ahead and got it. And it was on sale anyways. So this is the Dimensions Gold Collection Enchanted Ornaments stocking. So I do plan to make stockings in the future, and this would be mine. And I love it so much. It's got my color. I love the cardinal and the deer. It's just, I've always loved this so much. So I went ahead and got it. It's the full kit. It does come with Ada, and you do see I don't know if I'll use the Ada or if I'll, so the light blue in the stocking is the fabric coming through. You don't stitch. It's not full coverage. So the light blue coming through is the fabric. So I don't know if I might get like a linen to replace that or not. I'm not starting this anytime soon, so I'll see. But I do love this. So this is on Amazon right now. Again, I could be very wrong about the out of print thing, but just in case. so yeah. And then I've got 2 giveaways. So the first giveaway, this is from my whip parade. I had 2 giveaways, which I had forgotten it, so I didn't do it in my last video. And so I'm doing it now. So the first giveaway was just for this 14 count Ada. Just a sheet. David had accidentally bought it for me, and I don't use Ada, and I don't know anyone else who uses 14 count Ada. So this is going to A. Renee. So A. Renee, if you could just email me at georgiagirlstitching@gmail.com your address. Love to get this out to you. And then the other one was this Fortnite Fabrics stink horn that it was a UFO. I'm not continuing with this project. I had done it 1/1, 32 count. And so I'm giving this whole piece of fabric away, and this is going to Pat Myers. So Pat, if you will email me your address, I'll get it out to you. And I have not gotten the other giveaways out. They are ready to go. I just need to get to the post office. So I promise that's coming. Pretty much once I get these addresses, I'm gonna send them all out together. So promise they're ready to go. I've gotten everyone's addresses for the last giveaway, so it's coming. Speaking of getting things out the door, you may have seen I did start my Floss Tags page to start selling my Floss Tags, and it has been a journey trying to get me with USAA with David. So we're there finally, so I can finally link that with PayPal and all of that. So finally got the bank side figured out, so now I can start selling them. So my plan is to post those this weekend. So keep an eye out for that. And I'll post that on my Instagram page as well when that is ready to go. But I'm super excited about that. I think I have 10 sets that I'm posting, I think, give or take. So I'm super excited to get that started. More to come, with each video as I continue on that journey. So thank you to those who have already followed. If you use Floss Tags or interested in trying them, it's just Georgia Girl Floss Tags is the name of the Instagram page where I will be selling them. So I think that's pretty much it. I'm trying to see if I missed anything. I don't think so. I think that's everything. Short video. I think this is the shortest video I've had in probably over a year at this point. Thank you to everyone who's held on with my long videos in the past. I'm sure they'll be back. But yeah, that's kind of all my life at this point is school, boards, a little bit of stitching, and getting ready for our next great adventure with the Navy in medical school. So thank you all so much for watching and for supporting me and supporting us. We really do appreciate it, and I love seeing all of your stuff on Instagram as well and following your journeys. So thank you so much for hanging out, and I'll see you next month. Bye, friends.